Good morning. It is Thursday, September 3rd. Once again, I'm in the conference room. I didn't plan on doing a video for several more weeks, but might as well do one today as we have some information regarding the palisadium. Urgent information. Much of the information I'm about to give you, you've already heard in the last two videos that I did, but for whatever reason, some people aren't hearing me loud and clear, so I'll do it one more time, and we'll go through a letter I received yesterday, okay, which we'll go over in a few minutes. About a year ago, not exactly, I don't have the exact dates, about a year ago, the Palisadium instituted a lawsuit against the 200 and 300 building, claiming that they needed more money and also they wanted to terminate the deal with both buildings, okay? Their pure intentions are really to terminate their deal, okay? That's my personal opinion, by the way. We went to court, it cost a substantial amount of money. I want to bring that up one more time. At this particular time, we've spent well over $20,000 on the Palisadium, legal bills, etc. We went to court, and fortunately, the judge ruled in our favor. He dismissed the case, okay, threw the case out. They were looking for more money or terminating the deal, but like I say, I think much more emphasis on terminating the deal. And the judge ordered the 200, 300, and the Palisadium to mediate, to go into mediation, okay? So again, we'll get into the mediation in a minute, all right? How some of the unit owners here feel that we shouldn't be mediating. We've been ordered by a judge, I want to say this very clearly, ordered by a judge to mediate this, all right? We had to put up the 300 building $5,000, okay, for mediation. It made me sick. I didn't want to do it, because I really felt that we were just wasting our money, but we did it, okay? I also want to emphasize before we go any further, once again, okay, we cannot make a deal or no deal without 200's cooperation. This works, okay? This agreement that was made in 1974 was an agreement between 200 and 300. So to make a long story short, we all have to get on the same side, okay? The case was dismissed. We went into mediation. And when I say we, I went to the first mediation. We went into a judge's chambers. We Zoomed, if you want to get that. We Zoomed this between us, their attorneys, our attorneys, and a judge, a retired judge. Want to also emphasize, everything the board is doing here is under the guidance of our lawyers, okay? We're not controlling this. This is all, we're all getting advice from our lawyers, and they've been handling most of the mediation, by the way, okay? So it's not like the board is mediating it. We went to the first mediation, and since then, I think several times our lawyers went to the mediation. Nobody from the board was involved because we really basically have gone nowhere. Okay, so now let me give you some history about the Palisadium, which I don't know if I've told you this or not before. I'm not sure about this. When COVID hit, obviously the Palisadium closed. As soon as they closed, they did the following. They emptied their pool out. They told all their vendors, the hairdresser, the spa, the rehab center, the juice bar, and any other people down there, they were no longer going to stay in business to get their equipment out. They will no longer function down there, okay? They also let all their employees go, obviously. So the Palisadium, and I've also been told that they also got rid of some of the equipment down there. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure, but I am sure about them letting their employees go. Also, not too long ago, they sent an email out, a mass email to people that had emails that had the membership down there, that they would give them a refund. A lot of people were complaining they weren't getting refunds, they couldn't reach them. So how that came about, I'm really not sure, but they did send an email out, I'm going to say 6 to 8 weeks ago, saying everybody's due for a refund. So as I sit here today and go over the Palisadium with you, I know this sounds amazing. We have never been notified, as I sit here right now, by the Palisadium that they weren't going to reopen this past Tuesday, 2 days ago. They never even said we're not opening, okay? What happened was that on Monday, the 200 buildings lawyer wrote them a letter and said, are you going to reopen on Tuesday, the next day? And they got a reply saying, no, we're not opening. We can't afford the liability insurance, or they can't get the liability insurance. I really don't remember exactly what the wording was. And they can't comply with the COVID requirements, and they're not reopening, okay? But again, we have never been notified. So I was going to do a video probably around today to tell everybody that the Palisadium right now is not reopening. And I doubt very much if they're going to ever open again. And I say I doubt very much because, again, officially, they've never told us this, but I will tell you that they have breached their agreement, okay? They breached their agreement. They did not reopen on Tuesday like they were supposed to, okay? So with all that said, of course, the board, discusses other options and things that we could do, because that's what the board of directors has been voted on to do, okay? To try to, rectify and make the building, run efficiently and the way it's supposed to run. So I received this letter yesterday, which is a very, very interesting letter. And to be honest with you, once again, I'm going to go into a little bit. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just telling you factually, when I ran for this position, which I'll be starting my 12th year next month, okay? When I ran for this position to be on the board of directors, many, many people said to me in the building and outside the building, and my friends saying, what are you, crazy? It's a thankless job and you're wasting, this is ridiculous, you're going to put a lot of pressure on yourself, et cetera, et cetera. So I felt, no, I wanted to run because at that particular point, I'm giving you a little bit of a story till I get to this letter, which we'll go over in a minute. When I ran for the board, there was a blue wall in front of the building that just completely it was mind-blowing. It was horrible. It was a $250,000 wall that most of you that still live here, that lived here at that point, know exactly what I'm talking about. And I felt it was really done in poor taste, and some of the unit owners should have had more input to put something like that out in front of our building, okay? And some of the people on the board of directors, when we went to a meeting and we voiced our opinion, just kind of just shoot us away, okay? So that's why I ran for the board, and since that particular time, I think things have gone very, very well in this building, which I'll get to in a second after we talk about this letter. So now, yesterday I got a letter, and if you remember, in my last video, I mentioned that there was a woman in the building that tried to contact our attorneys. We wrote the woman a letter, not we, the manager wrote the letter and told her that it's not ethical and not the way you go about this here. By going directly to our attorneys, you should be coming to the management office or writing the board of directors. With that said, she once again went to the attorneys, and that's not the way it works here. And I mentioned that last time. If everybody in this building and everybody in all the buildings that this attorney handles, which is, I think I mentioned last time, over 450 properties, starts calling his law firm, his phone lines will blow up, okay? So with that said, this woman obviously is very upset that she didn't get the satisfaction she wanted, and she went out and she decided to put together a letter to the board of directors, which I have no problem with the letter, okay? And it's to Roger Grod, board of directors, okay? First of all, there's 9 board of directors. It should be written to Roger Grod and the board of directors, not Roger Grod, but that's okay too, by the way, right? And she writes a letter. Let me quote you a few things that it says in the letter so we could straighten this up. She says the majority of the people in the building, okay, are very, very upset about the palisadium, almost insinuating that the board of directors has something to do with it. So let me say up front now, and I'll say it again during this conversation several more times. We didn't breach our agreement. We paid our dues every month. We put no complaints in, and we went along with the palisadium because of people like this woman that's upset, to keep her happy, okay? We went along with this. Even though we were at certain times not that happy with the service down there, we continued on, all right? We did not breach the agreement. We had no intentions of terminating this agreement. Let me just keep saying that over and over again, because some people don't like to hear the truth, okay? I've dealt with people like this before. You could tell them 100 times the same thing and they don't want to hear it. So I'm saying it again. We did not want to breach the agreement. Okay, anyway. So this agreement, at the beginning it says, okay, it has come to our attention the Palisadium Gym is planning to terminate the agreement. Then it was said, okay, then it says, the overwhelming majority, okay, of the unit owners resent your intentions to settle with the Palisadium for monetary value. Okay, first of all, 85 people signed this, all right? Out of that 85 people, I'm getting technical now, it really doesn't matter, about 5 or 6 of them were duplicates, so we're down to 80, and I believe 3 or 4 of them were renters, okay? So it doesn't matter, okay? 80 people is far, far from the majority of the 2,500 plus people that live here. But that's, again, it's irrelevant. You know, one person, in my opinion, writes a letter is good enough for me, okay? All right? So it says monetary value. What are we supposed to do? If they terminate their agreement and they're making a certain offers, we have to listen, okay? If we don't listen, we're going nowhere. We're going to have no gym, okay? And we're going to get nothing in exchange. So we have to listen to what we're saying. And again, This is what lawyers are advising us to do, and this is what 9 board members are advising us to do, okay, or agreeing to do. There's no other choice. What else are we supposed to do? And then it says here at the bottom, if the board proceeds with the termination of the recreational facility, if the board proceeds with the termination, we are not terminating this agreement, okay? Again, I want to be clear, we're not terminating it. You are to cease and desist from all actions and negotiations which may result in the termination of the above referenced recreational facility. We cannot cease and desist for 2 reasons, okay? Reason 1 is we've been ordered by a judge to mediate this, okay? And reason 2, common sense dictates that we have to try to come to some type of resolution. If they close that building down and we don't get any financial or monetary monies for this, we're going to be left with no gym, and we're not even going to have the funds to even put our own gym in. So we are going to continue on. Let me emphasize very, very strongly what this letter says, okay, which I find to be a little bit insulting based on the way this board has acted all the years I've been on it, okay? It points out that we have a fiduciary right to get a vote from the unit owners here, and we are not to do anything or make any deals without the vote of the unit owners. Let me say this on camera so you can have it, you can DVR it, you can record it, you can put it any way you want. We will never make a deal, okay, without a vote from the unit owners, okay? Because we can't, okay? We're not allowed to, okay? So we know our fiduciary right. We will make no deal. We will continue, hopefully, to negotiate, even though we're not even negotiating. If you want to get technical, I'm telling you the truth. It's come to a stalemate. We're really going very little. As far as there's a line in here, and again, I want to say this also, okay? Please don't dictate and tell me in a letter that this is going to hurt our value of our property here. I'm in my 41st year in this building. I know very, very well. I'm also a gym guy, okay, that went to the gym almost every single day for 25 years, okay, for the last 25 years. Outside of the last year, I really haven't. Prior to the last year, I went to the gym almost every single day. Anybody that goes to the gym knows that. I noticed that a lot of people that signed that agreement too, which is very interesting. And I took note of who signed that agreement, okay? Many of those people that signed it, I never saw in the gym in my life, okay? So I found that to be pretty interesting. But we know what the value, what a gym does down there. That's why monetary, okay, it gets some monetary value out of the gym for the future, okay, whether we want to put our own gym in or how we're going to handle this, is very, very important to the building, okay? And you know, my hands are kind of tied here too in certain ways. There's a lot of things I'd like to tell you, some of the things that we've thought about, some of the things we've discussed here. But again, this is a legal matter. I can't sit here and start telling you on YouTube legally what we're doing. We're not going to tell the opponent what our plans are, what our thoughts are. I'm not going to do that, okay? That legally, I think my lawyer would go ballistic on me if I start doing that. So again, to recap this, okay, to the woman that's written this letter and had 85 people sign, you have my word, 100%, okay? We are not going to do anything without unit owners' vote. I've said in the past, and I say it today one more time, I wish the Palisadium never did this. I wish the Palisadium it was open and doing their job, okay? I was very happy going there. I felt that it wasn't the first-class club that we hoped it would be, but it was sufficient for me, and I was very happy. This is none of our doing. We didn't terminate this. By the way, we put all our money in escrow. We have now been told, to show you where they're at, okay, that we no longer have to put the money in escrow, all right? So we are saving the money for, in case the event that we may have to put a gym in our building, and there are certain things that we have discussed here, if things don't work out. So again, from this point on, 85 people signed it. Do me a favor, you have a problem, reach out to me, send me a letter. You've seen me in the hall, some of you. Why didn't you stop me in the lobby when I saw you? Why didn't you stop some of the other board members, okay? The board discussed this as recently as Tuesday night, 2 days ago, that we would never do anything unless we voted on this. Just ironically, this letter came the next day. So I feel very, very bad about this, and this is the first time in almost, the 11 years I'm on the board, it's the first time I've ever received a letter like this. And I find it interesting, and I want to end by saying this before I go into some other quick subjects, because I know you're probably getting bored with my videos already. But I made 2 Time Warner deals. I made 1 Spectrum deal. The building received well over $400,000, okay? We lowered your cable bill. The average person spending $50 a month less today than they were 5 or 6 years ago with more stations, etc. Your phone bills went from $29.95 down to $9.99. Your cable, your internet is free. Okay, we made a deal with SEPCO. We make $1 million over 10 years. I could go on and on and on. All the monies that we're bringing in here. And I will say one thing: I've never received a letter from one person like this. Okay, Roger, thank you so much for working on the PPP and putting $500,000 in our bank. Thank you so much for some of the deals you've done. So it's a thankless job. It's fine. I could live with that. Okay, but before people start writing letters and signing something like this, it's upsetting. It's upsetting because we put a lot of work in here. And of course, all of us are volunteers, okay? So again, we're not going to do anything unless we have the unit owners involved with a vote, and we will continue to try to do the best job we can regarding the palisadium. Before I finish up, I just want to go over a couple of quick subjects here. All right, the hallways, the community room, etc. We have decided on a decorator here. We officially decided on someone. We're doing some samples of how we're going to cover the piping in the hallways, the sprinkler system. We're putting a lot of emphasis on the community room. That's the first thing we're going to do in the building. We're going to make a beautiful widescreen, good sound system in there for some nice music, several sitting areas. We're going to redo the ceiling, of course. We're going to redo the flooring, the walls. It's going to be completely redone and make a beautiful community room. We've seen some beautiful stuff for the hallways, which we're working on, and we hope to go into high gear here sometime in the next 3 or 4 months, okay? And hopefully by springtime, the building will be well underway, all right? So we've done a lot with that, and things are working out well. I want to mention also the open meetings and the annual meeting, okay? What we're going to do is, you cannot ratify a vote, okay? And let me explain this to you. The reason we haven't had some of these Zooms or some of the other things that other people do, you cannot ratify a vote electronically. It's in the bylaws. Read it. It says it very clearly, okay? So if we had a meeting, we couldn't ratify anything. What we're going to do is, the night of the annual meeting, we're going to have actually 2 meetings. The first meeting is going to be a board of directors meeting, or the board will be there. We're going to put a minimal amount of people into the community room, and we are going to ratify everything that we voted on. Give a quick little speech of what's going on. Okay. We're then going to adjourn that meeting, and probably 45 minutes to an hour later, we're going to allow but we're going to include the unit owners. Okay, because the annual meeting is a unit owners meeting. It's not a board of directors meeting. We're going to let you Zoom from your home. Okay. All the board members are going to go home except for myself. I'm going to stay down here, and we're going to set up a Zoom down here. People will be given a password to use to get on and Zoom. You'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to hear from an auditor, etc., etc. So we have 2 different things going on that evening: a board of directors meeting, and in addition to that, the annual meeting where every unit owner in this building will be allowed to join in. That's something a little bit different. I think it's going to be very convenient for people. And I'm very, very, very worried about the vote this year. I'm very worried because obviously Annette Tupelo is going to be the chairperson once again, which is fantastic, but we're going to have to figure out how we're going to solicit votes in the lobby, let's put it that way, to try to get the quorum and to try to make things go well. So I'm worried about that because of COVID, and you'll hear more about that also as time goes on. So there will be a board of directors meeting, and there will be, of course, the annual meeting. We're talking about 6 weeks from now, all right? So we'll get back on schedule. Things are starting to loosen up a little bit in the state, COVID-wise, so hopefully, next year at this time, we'll have a nice summer at the pool again, and we'll open up all the activities and get things. If not, we'll make different arrangements next year. I mean, in all due respect, this particular year, we didn't even hear that you could even open a pool till almost the 4th of July. So anyway, we're working on a lot of that stuff. We're working on the hallways. And also, in addition to, the palisadium, the board of directors works very hard. We have a lot of stuff going on. We're going to redo the tennis courts, which we intended on doing, but COVID again stopped us. We're redoing the all-purpose court. We're putting new padding where the children's swings are. Again, we're doing the hallways over here. We just redid the pool, as you know, last year. We never had the opportunity to use it. So there's a lot of things going on here. But the palisadium is definitely a priority for our property value, a gym and a place to work out. So as time goes on, you'll hear more about that. But again, before I end this, which I'll do right now, if anybody wants to get upset, do me a favor. Get upset with the palisadium. Don't get upset with the WT300. This is not our doing, okay? I'm sorry that some of you people feel this way. Anyway, have a nice Labor Day weekend. Stay healthy, and we'll do the best we can to make people happy. Thank you.